If you stumble across this video, it won't hurt you. If you're in my class, you're in the right spot. This video is specifically about self-perception and exercise. We can talk forever about it. I have my computer, I've got 2 pairs of glasses, I've got my book with sticky notes so I don't talk forever, and we have a house full of animals. I hope they don't make noise. I've done my best. This is take 100, and Vesper is the best dog ever. With the sticky notes, I'm going to try to give you an overview and then talk about our assignment. And so anytime, the first thing before we do that, anytime there's a lot of topics in here that might be our mental health topics. And so if you're reading your chapter or you're listening to me, you go, man, I think I've got a problem with X or X, Y, and Z, then you should go get help. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you can see as I talk through this, I'll point out a couple areas. Why do I have my high school football jersey on from 86, 87, probably 85, I guess, somewhere around there, 85, 86, 87, 86, 87. Because I think that when I start in this chapter, and I think self-perception and exercise, I don't think exercise, I think sport. I think I was a little boy who loved to play sports, and at some point that little boy was still small, even though he got older, and realized he was little, right? And football will do that to you. It won't do it to you from where I'm from for a long, well, it took a while, right? Because it took a while until we played a team that had somebody who was 6'6", 300, right? It took a while for that. But once that hits you, you realize there's a TV there, that those guys on TV are not this size. Okay, here we go. Our first sticky note is Exhibit 8.1. It's a classic figure from 1976. I've known about this for 4 or 5 decades. 5, I guess. And it gives us our global self-concept, and it comes from something like this one has from our academic, and then it has from non-academic selves. And the non-academic selves like self-concept, emotional self-concept, and then bingo, physical self-concept. And on the academic side, you can see when you look at that figure, they're all the same, that surely some of those have more impact than others. I don't have a history academic self-concept. I don't remember anything about the Renaissance. No clue. And I don't feel bad about it. I have no emotional self-concept problems of not remembering stuff from 6th grade. But the physical part, it's still, all right, jersey's still on, it still fits. So that's number 1 to look at. And we have all sorts of information about why that's important. And then we go over to Exhibit 8.2, which is a great figure. It really is. It shows us sources outside us or inside us, right, that influence the thing that we call our body image, right? And so my body image, I think it's pretty good. I think but I define body image by height. That's how I define it. I don't define it by benching 500 pounds. I don't define it by anything like that. I have always defined it by height, right? And so it's hard to hide from that. It's very hard to hide from height. It just is. And so you look through that exhibit, and that ties into my computer's down there again with our assignment. It ties right into our assignment, which, like our last, is pretty open. It has some open-ended questions about this one's going to be about mass media, and mass media is one of our sources right here. Social cultural influences on our body image. I wouldn't say that the media dramatically influences me, right? Because if I look at a muscle and fitness magazine, again, I don't have any thought of, oh, tomorrow's the day I squat 600 pounds and have to buy all new clothes because my clothes won't fit. I don't have any of those thoughts. Getting taller is still a daily prayer. And so we skip on over to Exhibit 8.8. It's So we made a big jump. There's a lot of great content before that. And it gives us effect sizes on the effects of exercise on our global self-esteem. So what is the effect of exercise? What does exercise do to our self-esteem? Now, it can only do something to it if you value the physical self, right? So if you are, again, there's a lot of great things that happen in this world, tons of them. And so if you value nuclear physics, you probably got to be really good at it to have a job, right? And so the physical self might slide, doesn't have to, it might slide a little bit because the knowledge you need to be a nuclear physicist or whatever it is, it requires you to sit at a computer and do computer stuff that's sedentary stuff, right? Doesn't mean you can't exercise all night long, but it seems different than someone who's in sports, right? Or in exercise, an aerobics teacher, a weight trainer, it all seems very different. And then the people who engage in those activities. What are the effects? You go right down the right-hand column. They're small, right? They can't be huge. They can't be huge. I wish they were huge, but they can't be huge, right? They have to be kind of smallish to medium, more small, mostly small, because again, I never change this thing. It never changes in the videos. I have to really value health, and then the physical part, of how that fits into my global self-esteem, right? And then I have to actually go do it, right? That's the big one. I have to actually go do it for it to impact me, right? So there it is. There's nothing that stands out, nothing that's greater or worse. A little bit of exercise is just as good or potentially even better than too much exercise, as in time, like doing it all the time. That's okay. That helps. Our next sticky note goes to body image. So this is specifically not about that general self-concept, which should be harder to impact than our body image. Again, the effect sizes range. There are more of them that are larger than they are for a global self-concept. Why is that? Because excuse me, because it is specific to our body image. And so definitely, yes, when you exercise, yes, can you change your body image? Yes, you can, right? And so, and most likely it's going to be positive. It could certainly, statistics aren't for everybody, right? As in, and not this value here might not be your value, might not impact you this way, right? But for most people, if I engage in physical activity, then I do have a positive change in my body image and my self-perceptions. Right? Again, I think of height. So there's no exercise that I found that will make me taller. Then what I really like on page 215 in this textbook is they give a prescription, a body image prescription based on those results from the meta-analysis on exercise and body image. And so it says, I'm just going to read it because I think it's probably right. I mean, it's based off the meta-analysis, and it's again probably a good idea. Frequency, most days of the week. Intensity, moderate to heavy. Type of exercise suggests some type of combination. All of them work, right? All of it works. But the moderate to heavy part you start to think of weights, dumbbells, machines, right? And then the amount of time, it seems unrelated. How much, if it's too much time, just a little bit of time. But then again, our world is based on 150 minutes of moderate vigorous physical activity a week. And so that's fine. That works. And so then when we get to our assignment, and let's see if I can see that. I might change my glasses. It asks you to specifically look at that figure, the second one I discussed about sources for our our body image and self-esteem and self-concept. And so it's a media exercise. And it's to go to stores still have magazines. You don't have to buy anything. Nobody needs to buy anything. And I'm old, and so I keep saying, you go to a bookstore, you go to the checkout aisle at Market Street, across the street from me. Obviously, magazines are digital, and I'm out of touch with the reality about where you find magazines. So you find them. You have to find ones that, of course, that make sense. Time magazine, if that still exists, National Geographic, which I know exists, those aren't the right ones. Men's Health, Women's Health, blah blah blah, GQ, those type of things are the ones that make sense. And you look at them, right? You run down, you open them up, you scroll through when you're at the checkout line, and you scroll through them a bit, and you take some notes. I have a list of a number of things you could look at. Ultra thin, super muscular, everybody's tall, diet products, all that type of stuff that you look for in the magazine. And then you form your essay by using at least 3 concepts. It'd be great if you underline them, you can put them in bold, whatever, Blackboard's touchy, right, to put it in there. 3 concepts from your book that make sense. I gave an example of, you can read the example, and then I underlined my example of how I would write my essay. As always, I look forward to, the cats are going to come and attack me. I look forward to reading what you write, and let's have a great week. I'll see you.